Uh, I have some loops behind. Let me check it. Some issue with the song. I hope it's okay. 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 All right. As you can see, I am currently. I just shift my initial trade, which was short term long on Euro USD. I just shifted because of the dollar. The dollar just break my last line of defense, which was this. Excuse me for the voice. I just let me give you a cup of water. All right. So I talk about last line of defense, which was this highs. I don't want it to see price break this high. Why? Because I still I s- I still thought that we could potentially test this low right there before continue higher. Remember, the my higher time frame is still bullish, but I still wanted to see some retracement first in discount zone before engaging or before seeing another realignment with the higher time frame trend. But it seems like we are not going to have it because the dollar is very, very strong. We pretty much broke above and closed above this high, you see. So there is a high chance that we could continue the trend, finally target these higher prices somewhere here, this zone, this imbalance in higher time frame. So that's why I close my trade on Euro USD in a loss. So this was a loss in full transparency. So when I have a loss, I don't hesitate to mention it. It's not always good days when you have some wins. When I have loss, I I I don't hesitate to mention it also. So let me get rid of this. Yeah. So I will let this as a loss right there. For those of you who will watch this live, you will know that I have lost this trade. So the one thing I am regretting right now is I I over overload the size. I take a lot of risk on this one because it doesn't look like is wanted to drop at some point, because if you see if you see the daily time frame, the daily is still bearish, you see. So daily is still bearish. So what I wanted to see is just a retracement. I thought that we will have some room to target the 50% of this daily retracement, but this is not the case. It seems like, let me show you here. It seems like, let me get it seems like this yes, this resistance is is about to crack. See, we hold in the past perfectly here, here. Seems like we are holding, but yeah, we are not fully break below yet. But it seems like with the strength of the dollar and the confirmation I've saw here, if we close above here, there is a high chance that we could continue the movement to the upside. So in consequence, I think we could see a break below and maybe a continuation to finally target this next level right there. So that's why the idea my idea of taking a buy off of this support starting to be very lower holds. So yeah, I let's go down. I try to remove this. Let me get rid of this. On daily, yeah, it seems like, yeah, if we take in perspective this resistance, this support, it seems like this support is starting to turn in resistance, you see. So it seems like we are going to hold below and maybe continue to the downside. So doesn't look good for retracement as I expected. So yeah, when I have some some idea to the upside, it seems like this is not gonna be the case. So let's go down to the 4 hour. So let's go again on 1 hour. When I saw at this point, I have this channel, you see, this channel, I mark up this channel right there. So for me, I wanted to see a continuation, a rebound off of this zone to continue the move, but seems like we are not going to have it. Yes, we target first this imbalance, and I wanted to see another push up, but it's not. It seems like it's not going to be the case. When I saw this movement in lower time frame, yes, I had a shift of structure because we broke above close here. So at this time, I was pretty sure that we could you will continue to the upside, but as soon as I saw this movement, this break of structure, yeah, and plus the fact that the dollar was closing above this high I mentioned, my last line of defense, I was pretty sure that the trend will continue to the downside. At least the trade idea, short term long was finished, was over. So that's why I closed my trade in a loss on USD. So sometimes we need to admit it. I am wrong. So and shift quickly to the right side of the market. So talking about the right side, the new right side of the market, I put some alerts. Seems like I started to be triggered my entry. So my new setup will be this. I want to see some rejection of this supply right there, which was formed right there. So, and by the way, we have in a couple of minutes the PMI in Eurozone. Let me check it. Yeah, PMI, French PMI and German PMI. So yeah, this morning, this London. So that's why I launched this stream and see what will happen here. If this comes out weak, this will add some more pressure on euro. In fact, this movement or this bearish movement was caused by the new tension in the Middle East. So remember, we had a peace deal last month. If we go to see, for example, the US oil in a higher time frame, this this drop of oil was caused by after the peace deal. We signed the peace deal in the Middle East somewhere here at the beginning of June during the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. They they wasn't have a strike. So even though we continue to have some strike, but it was not also intensified than here right now. So right now the strike have restart. If you see, for example, the headlines, you will see that we had a series of headlines from Trump administration who threatened we threatened the Iran in the Middle East. So this you can see US will hold Iran responsible of Houthis. A lot of threats from the Trump administration. Trump on social. From this point forward, anytime Iran shoots at a ships in Strait of Hormuz, US will bomb. So a lot of threats from Trump administration. So this cause lead to the close of Strait of Hormuz again. And you know that when the Strait of Hormuz is closed, this is not good for oil because oil starting to come back again around the $100 barrel, which was the expensive zone. This is not a good zone for oil. So this could potentially means that the return of inflation. And when we talk about return of inflation, if you see the DXY, that potentially gives some strength on the US dollar. That's why I think my first idea, which was waiting price to retrace here and short it, was over because the dollar starting from the beginning of the strike in the Middle East, the dollar starting to getting strong and strong. We finally break this high. So for me, there is if the strike continue, it seems like we are most likely going to continue to target these highs next and potentially continue the trend to the upside. So this tension in the Middle East participate to to give some strength in the US dollar. So that's why I feel like my idea was wrong at that time. So yeah, it is what it is. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Um, yeah. So my next setup will be this waiting price to retrace around this demand zone right there. So let's see. So otherwise, if you see, for example, some a new negotiation in the Middle East that the taco the taco phenomenon. So if you started to see some negotiation in the Middle East, so we could potentially see something like this, and this could be just a fake out of the channel. So reintegration on the channel, and we could potentially target this, but I'm not guessing too much on this one because the tension is really in the Middle East. So it seems like yeah, we are not going to find a peace right now. So yeah, um, otherwise maybe now we are heading to the end of the week. Maybe who knows, in the weekend, during the weekend, we have some good news and potentially the return of at normal. We could potentially see some drop of oil. So yeah, very difficult this back and forth airline. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was very difficult for me from the beginning of this year 2026 with all those headlines back and forth, tension in the Middle East. We have the tariff situation. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this could potentially be my worst here. So yeah, yes, the year is not finished. We just make the we are currently in the middle of the year, but for me it was very difficult to trade with this environment. So if by some way in the at the end of this year I finish profitable, this this could means a lot of things. So if I arrive to, if I manage to survive in this type of condition, I think the future is bright for for me, because I never tried in this environment. This this is tough. This is really tough. So I think we had the EU PMI on euro and French was comes on. Let me refresh it. Yeah. So some PMI, manufacturing PMI and service PMI on French economy. So yeah, we have some mixed data, I would say. Yeah, the report is kind of mixed. So yeah, we are below 50 for service PMI. We are at 50 for manufacturing PMI, but lower than expected. So yeah, I will say pretty soft for French economy, French PMI. So let's see the next on German. French and German economy was the leader of the euro economy. So that's why I like to focus on both on this one. When you have data on German economy or French economy, you pretty much have the big view on the EU economy. So that's very interesting. So we have at 9:30 German PMI, and next at 10 a.m. we also have the EU, the global EU service PMI. So let's see this how this will impact. So if we go back to my current trades, yeah, um, if you continue to have soft PMI, I think we could potentially see soft euro. This could potentially bring some weakness on euro, and on the trade on short side will be valid for me, targeting this low right there. So let's see the next PMI on Germany in a couple of minutes. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. This back and forth headline is crazy. It's crazy, crazy. Yeah, yeah. We still have some concern in the Middle East. That's why the dollar is still getting strength. So yeah, I'm not expecting a short-term short in dollar anymore. So seems like the narrative have changed. And by the way, I'm still bullish, as I said, in higher time frame. I still want to retrace if I go to the weekly time frame. This is my long-term target. If I measure this last weekly leg, you will see I want to target higher time frame, this premium zone right there, somewhere here. So that's why I said higher time frame my direction is bullish. But for this week, based on last previous data in United States, I'm talking about the at the beginning of the month June, we had week report on NFP, and then we had, if I remember, week PMI, ESM PMI, and we also have a weak inflation. And then that's why at this point I wanted to see a continuation, at least target this previous support which held the price many times as a resistance. So I wanted to see some rebounds off of this level before continuation in higher time frame. So it seems like there is a potentially that we couldn't get this, but instead we could potentially break to the upside because of this new tension in the Middle East, which reinforced the dollar. So yeah, I let's see what will happen here. So this was my last line of defense, as I said, but I would not exclude the fact that because we never know with this taco phenomenon with Trump administration. He said something today, and maybe during the week and the opening of the next week, we have some sort of negotiation in the with the Iran administration, and maybe we could get something like a huge fake out that we reject this level again, break this low, and then we continue to. I will not be surprised if we get this type of movement in the after the weekend. If we get some good news in terms of negotiation, new negotiation, but yeah, that's why I said it's very difficult to trade in this type of environment with this. Globally, this year in general for me was not a good year. It's very tough environment. It's back and forth headlines and very impact the price. So uh, so let's see. We started to reject again. So let's see if this level holds. If not, we could potentially continue to reject and target this low. So yeah, let's see how price react right there. I need to see a new rejection in this zone. Okay, yes. If price break again this high, I'm done for the week. I'm not gonna lie, I'm done for the week. If price break again this high, yeah, I'm done for the week and wait for the next week, because next week I think we will have another interesting data. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, we have interest with the FOMC meeting. Yeah, so this could potentially move the market or not. So the probability to the expectation of maintaining the rates unchanged is the same. So we expect to hold for the Fed. If I go to the Fed watch tool, yeah, the probability of maintaining the the same rate is is at 66%. So let's look the probabilities next week. Yeah, we have more probability to hold or cut than hike rate. So yeah, let's go to the rate probability.com. You can see between the Fed and the ECB, the European Central Banks. You see the both banks are hawkish, but it seems like the Fed is more hawkish than the expectation is more hawkish on the Fed side than the ECB. So yeah, that's why long term I want to be bearish on Euro USD. So yeah, so let's see. Let's go back. We have a new PMI. Yo, PMI on in Germany comes out pretty good for manufacturing PMI, but um, below the 50 for the service PMI. Yeah, I would say a mixed report, or let's say a little bit better than the French economy, the French PMI. So let's see the next one in euro in general. So let's see how this will impact at 10 a.m. Can see we started to see some strain on euro, but because in higher time frame I'm bearish, I want to play the sell opportunity this London session. We still have some demand supply right there, so which could potentially hold the price. So let's go down to the 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour. I will refine the supply right there here. If we could tap this zone again, I will be happy to continue to sell. Let's see. Okay, so we will have, I think, another for the end of this day. We have some flash PMI on USD dollar. So at the end of the pretty much at New York session. So yeah, we expect some soft data. We will see. I think maybe I will hold. I will be happy to hold this Euro USD over a week, because not only this will give me some positive swaps. Remember, I made a video about swap fees. So the carry trade, you will see it. My last short, I explain how is it will be benefit for you to short pairs with positive swap fees. I explain it in this short. If you want the full version, you could check the my last weekly market outlook, where I explain it in full analysis. So yeah, yeah, I will be happy to hold it over a week, and maybe towards the new FOMC meeting on Wednesday. So yeah, so yeah. Mm, 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 mm. I'm still bearish. I'm now bearish on Euro USD. So let's see. Yeah, just triggered to position on Euro on sell side. Yeah, I have some other position sell limit here. Let's see if we target it also. So this could be very interesting for me. My stop is just above these highs. Why this high? Because it is the higher points for this week. Yeah, this is the high of the week. You see, so I would not expect price to blow past this level again. I want to see a continuation to target this low if we are really really bearish on Euro USD. So for me on monthly, we are pretty much rejecting this support, which could be turned as a resistance. So for me, the next target will be this low, and if we close below, and maybe next week we could target this level right there. So that's pretty much it for me. Yeah, pretty interesting this weakness I see right now. So yeah, will be very interesting. So, Okay. Um, yeah, we got the EU PMI, which comes out pretty good in globally in Eurozone. So this could potentially give some strength on Euro to be able for me to tag this last sell limit order I put here, give some strength, and then hopefully we could get a continuation to the downside to realign with the higher time frame trend, which is bearish. Okay, this is the order flow bearish on daily time frame. So it seems like we are not going to, as I say, to retest this supply zone I mark up here, but look like this resistance is could push price to the downside. You see, could see some curve like this, but yeah, when you zoom out, it seems like price is very ranging right now, but because we continue to have some strike in the Middle East, as I said, it seems like dollar is acting like a safe haven again. So this could give some more strength in the dollar to continue to push to the upside. Okay. So same thing, I repeat, but my first trade for the week is to see some retest toward this discount zone somewhere here before continue higher. But it seems like the tension in the Middle East want to change the narrative, and I mentioned this last high. If we close above it, there is a high chance that we realign in the higher time frame trend and we continue to finally target this premium price. Okay, so let's see, look how we started to react to this level. This is a strong level in higher time frame. So yeah, if we continue to reject this level, I think we most likely going to push to the upside. That's what I'm thinking right now. Mm, 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 mm. So yeah, this tension in the Middle East is very difficult to trade with this back and forth, but the US oil is currently at this supply. I think we gonna blow past this supply and continue because based on the series of Trump administration headlines, you see some series of threats from the Trump administration. So this reinforces the dollar as a safe currency. So yeah, that's why I think the oil will continue to rise, return back to where it was during the beginning of the war at $100 somewhere here. So that means, as I said, we still have concern about inflation, which is not good for people who trade gold. So that's why I think I'm still bearish on gold. I want to see lower prices on gold. So buying the gold right now, maybe in short term, but long term, as long as we have this concern in the Middle East about inflation, yeah, which is not good for precious metals, I still think the trend is to the downside on precious metal like gold and silver. That's why I think. So, mm, so yeah, very focused on what the oil will do. So this, when I see this movement to the upside, this just let me know that the inflation is not away, is around the corner. I would say like that. So let's go back to the euro. Yeah. Let's see the other major pairs. Pound USD. So pound USD, I mentioned in my last weekly outlook. Pay attention to this low. Once we break it, I think that we will continue to the downside. It seems like the idea is playing out very well. So yeah, I'm still bearish on pound. You see how we reject this gray zone, which represent the point of control from the last year. Yeah, I also mentioned it in my weekly market outlook. So pay attention. If we see some rejection here, there's a high chance that we could continue tap again this support right there. Mm. And the reason why I want to buy euro compared to the pound in the beginning of the week, because if I measure this last 4 hour swing, you see the pound was already in premium zone, so I don't want to buy in premium zone somewhere here. So that's why I was very skeptical to buy pound compared to euro, which was a discount, you see, somewhere here. So for euro, I thought that we could have some another room to target premium price, but yeah, we had some headlines in the with this tension in the Middle East that completely shift my bias. So it's okay. Once we are realigned with the higher time frame trend, it's okay for me to continue to short to target this low, and potentially if we break below this, we could target also this level right there. So yeah, I'm happy to hold euro USD even over week, because yeah, the dollar is still acting as a safe haven. When I see recent euro, yes, we have some good news, good data on PMI, but to me, it's still soft, and the tension in the Middle East will continue to put some pressure on euro. So that's why I think we most likely going to the downside on euro USD. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. So we started to see nice rejection. Let me show you. Nice rejection right there. So yeah, I put some highlight here and some sell limit here in case we came back to retest extreme supply and then roll out to the downside again. So very interesting. Yeah, with this tension put a lot of pressure on indices. Yeah, we're starting to see some lower prices on US 30, Nasdaq, S&P. Yeah, doesn't look good. Even the DAX is more ranging, but yeah. So pound bearish. interesting. So yeah, I want to see some sort of, maybe next week, some sort of return around premiums before short again, somewhere here. But I will look it for the next week. On Aussie dollar, so Aussie dollar, I don't very like it because we're starting to range, you can see. So once we comes out of the range, I will reevaluate the trade again. Okay. Weekly time frame. Yeah, we are still holding here, so I still think that we could potentially retrace this weekly order flow, this weekly leg, starting from this low to this high. We could potentially retrace down to this discount zone. So that's why I think I mark up this demand right there in premium, in discount. So in case we reject this level somewhere here, we could potentially continue to target this low, but we are not there yet. So let's see how price will develop. We are ranging right now. So on kiwi, yeah, expect some continuation to the downside. So because the trend in daily time frame is bearish, you see, we broke below and closed below this level, so we retrace in premium. Now I want to see some bearish order flow forming to continue to short this pair. For yeah, I wanted to buy here when price was there before targeting this high, but because we are already target this high, so this trade is not valid anymore. I will get rid of that. So let's see. USD yen, yes, USD yen. That's why I explained that I'm very afraid of the USD yen, because the US dollar is strong right now. The yen, we don't know when the Bank of Japan will intervene, because we still have intervention above our head, and higher time frame is bullish. For me, it doesn't make sense to start to short. This will be a counter trend. So yeah, this thing is keep pushing to the high side. It seems like we are going most likely to target these highs I mentioned, which represent this level right there back in 86. It's very back in the past. So yeah, it seems like we are going to target it. So what I wanted to see is to see some retracement first before engaging in a buy, but maybe, who knows, the intervention will happen after we take this high, and then we will see a huge drop, huge intervention from the Bank of Japan. So for this pair, for me, it's just a wait and see how price will react right there. Okay. So get rid of this. So USD CAD, the dollar is strong, and we keep having strong oil, which is very related to the Canadian economy. So yeah, I think I will stay away a bit from this pair, USD CAD. Yes, we are rejecting this high, so I mentioned that we could potentially see a return around this level if we continue to see some strength coming from Canadian dollar. But the thing is, the problem is the US dollar is also strong. So I would not be surprised if we are not going to retrace the 50% of this last movement, which represent, I think, my daily leg. We are not going to see a fully retracement throughout this 50%, and maybe price, because of the dollar, will continue to push to the upside. There is a possibility. So let's see. Right now, I need to see lower prices for me to be engaged in a buy on this pair. Okay. So right now, price is stuck in this imbalance I mentioned. So yeah, yeah, we stay away from this pair for a moment. So I'm bullish on dollar right now. This could make sense if the dollar continue to be weak, to start to short, to continue to short this pair toward the discount price. But now that the dollar has shifted because of the tension in the Middle East, I I'm not I will stay away of this pair right now. So I need to see lower prices then be engaged. Let's see if we continue to form order flow bullish, and then maybe we continue to buy. But right now, this is not enough for me to take a decision. Okay, and then finish with USD CHF. So USD CHF, as I said, very tricky pair. So in period of tension like what is happening right now, CHF also sometimes acting as a safe haven. So when you have two currency like that acting as safe haven, is very difficult to put to forecast this pair, the direction of this pair. So yes, I mentioned that I want to see continuation to the downside, but never have a signal to do that. And the fact that I'm still bullish on higher time frame help me to avoid this trade on USDCHF. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this. So my main trade was a return around discount price somewhere here before engaging in the buy. So it seems like this level held perfectly. This is the level that pushed the price. So but I didn't get in this trade. So I wanted to see more lower prices before engage, but it is what it is. I miss it. So right now, yeah, price is very elevated right now. So yeah, we stay away for this pair. On monthly, we still have some room to target, but the room is not enough for me to swing trade this. So yeah, maybe wait to some rejection and then engage again to buy. So that's what I see right now. So let's go down to the 4 hour. Yeah. Yeah, this price continue to push. Nothing more to say in this particular price. So yeah. My main focus for the end of this week and potentially, and of course the next week, will be Euro USD. To resume it, I missed the trade. I lost this trade because of the new changement and new headlines in the on what happened in the Middle East. So I wanted to see price rebounds another time to target this premium price, but seems like we are not get this type of action. And instead we have some shift of structure following the headline in the Middle East. So the Trump administration treats the Iran administration multiple times. So this gives some strength on the dollar, which pretty much close above this my last line of defense. So that means we could potentially see a continuation to the upside because the higher time frame is bullish. So once the lower time frame shift and realign with the higher time frame, there is a high chance that we continue to the upside. So bullish on dollar and bearish on Euro USD. So that's pretty much my targets, my direction, my idea on Euro USD for the next week. And another thing, I will be happy to hold it because of the carry trade, which will be positive because I'm selling euro and I'm holding the USD dollar in my portfolio, which will yield more than the euro. So if you want some other explanation about carry trade, how to get positive swap fees, go check in my YouTube channel. The last short I made, how the carry trade work, I explain it. So this will help you know if you are a beginner, if you don't understand it, why your swap fees is sometimes you collecting swap positive swap fees and collecting negative swap fees. I explain it right there. You can go check it. So, 1 hour and 20 minutes of live streaming. I think I will end this here. So the live was about to see how the Euro PMI will impact the my new trade on Euro USD. So Euro PMI comes out good, but I think it's very soft. The main major macroeconomy which is driving Euro USD right now is simply the tension in the Middle East. So which reinforce the dollar, which give the dollar the safe character. So the safe even character, excuse me, the safe even character for the dollar. So that's reinforce the dollar. This is the main driver of the market right now. So that's why yes, we have good PMI, but on euro, but I still think we are going to continue to the downside on euro. That's why I position myself here. I see we mark up this supply zone, you see. So I already have some position triggered. So I have another sell limit here in case price decide to retest extreme supply to add more trade to the downside. So that's pretty much it for for the live. So how we hold it for for the next week. Um, yeah. I think we have another PMI in United States at New York session. Yeah, we have some PMI, manufacturer PMI and service PMI on in United States. So at 3:45 p.m. So yeah, I will keep my eyes on it, but I think I will hold my trade to the downside. So even over week for over week. So that's it for the live 1 hour and pretty much 30 minutes for of live. So I hope you learn something from this live stream. So be careful when you are trading, and from here we will see you for the next video, which will be the new weekly market outlook, which it will be released on this Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon. Thank you for watching the live stream.